The leading Russian opposition politician, former Deputy Prime Minister Boris Nemtsov, has been shot dead in Moscow, Russian officials say. An unidentified attacker in a car shot Mr. Nemtsov 4 times in the back as he crossed the bridge in view of the Kremlin, police say. He died hours after appealing for support for a march on Sunday in Moscow against the war in Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin has condemned the murder, the Kremlin says. In a recent interview, Mr. Nemtsov had said he feared Mr. Putin would have him killed because of his opposition to the war in Ukraine. Mr. Nemtsov, 55, served as first deputy prime minister under President Boris Yeltsin in the 1990s. He had earned a reputation as an economic reformer while governor of one of Russia's biggest cities, Nizhny Novgorod. Falling out of favor with Yeltsin's successor, Mr. Putin, he became an outspoken opposition politician. Brutal murder. Thorbjørn Jagland, Secretary General of the Council of Europe, condemned the killing, saying in a tweet, "I am shocked and appalled. Key opposition leader Boris Nemtsov was shot. Killers must be brought to justice." U.S. President Barack Obama condemned the brutal murder and called on the Russian government to conduct a prompt, impartial and transparent investigation. Mr. Nemtsov was shot at around 23:40 GMT on Friday while crossing Bolshoi Kameny Bridge accompanied by a woman, Russia's Interior Ministry said. He was shot with a pistol from a white car which fled the scene, a police source told Russia's Interfax news agency. According to Russian-language news website Meduza, several people got out of the car and shot him. One of the politician's colleagues in his RPR Parnassus party, Ilya Yashin, confirmed Mr. Nemtsov's death. "Unfortunately, I can't see the corpse of Boris Nemtsov in front of me now," he was quoted as saying by Russia's Lenta.Ruthenium news website. Flowers were left at the site of the shooting through the night. Line analysis. Sarah Rainsford, BBC Moscow correspondent. A lawyer for Mr. Nemtsov reported that he had received death threats over social media in recent months, but for now there's only speculation as to why he was targeted. He openly opposed Moscow's role in the crisis in Ukraine, and the annexation by Russia of Crimea. He had been planning the rare public protest on Sunday against both things, and a growing economic crisis in this country. Since his death, social media has been flooded with tributes to a man remembered as by friends as decent, honest and a Democrat. He had been pushed to the political margins in Vladimir Putin's Russia, but he was still prominent enough for someone to want to kill him. Profile: Boris Nemtsov. Putin's aggression. In his last tweet, Mr. Nemtsov sent out an appeal for Russia's divided opposition to unite at an anti-war march he was planning for Sunday. "If you support stopping Russia's war with Ukraine, if you support stopping Putin's aggression, come to the Spring March in Marino on March 1, he wrote. Speaking earlier this month to Russia's Sobosednik news website, he had spoken of his fears for his own life. "I'm afraid Putin will kill me," he said in the article in Russian on February 10. "I believe that he was the one who unleashed the war in the Ukraine," he added. "I couldn't dislike him more." Mr. Putin has been widely accused of fomenting the bloody rebellion in East Ukraine, an accusation he denies. Fighting there followed Russia's annexation of Crimea in March last year. Almost 5,800 people have died and at least 1.25 million have fled their homes, according to the UN. The Ukrainian government, Western leaders and NATO say there is clear evidence that Russia is helping the rebels with heavy weapons and soldiers. Independent experts echo that accusation while Moscow denies it, insisting that any Russians serving with the rebels are volunteers.